Hi, it's Mitch from Pickdawgz.com here with the free pick in the Georgia versus Georgia Tech college basketball matchup on Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. Of course, we do tons of free picks every day, and when you give out that many, well, people ask us all the time which ones we like the best. So we put those under the premium picks tab at Pick Dawgz. You can use the discount code PICK for 15% off. We also have the Dime Club and Sharp Trading Plays meant for people who make bigger bets. If that's you, you got to text the number that's on the screen because it's not available on the website, so text that number. But let's get to this one. Georgia taking on Georgia Tech, and of course on the college football field, this one is called Clean Old-Fashioned Hate here on the basketball court. Not sure if they call it the same thing or not, but I'll tell you, both these teams certainly looking to take a step forward. We've seen both these teams have good seasons from time to time, but recently it hasn't really been that way. But Georgia Tech has some big wins recently, and I think that they're thinking bigger things this season. For Georgia, Mike White in his second year after coming over after getting fired at Florida, he's done a really nice job on the recruiting trail. We've seen him in against some tough competition, and he hasn't really held up all that well in kind of traditional Mike White style. Georgia Tech coming off the big win over Duke. They were a 12.5-point dog, won that one outright. They were an 8.5-point dog against Mississippi State, won that game outright. Their loss came to Cincinnati and UMass Lowell, two pretty good teams. UMass Lowell way underestimated this season, so losing to them certainly not a big deal, I don't believe. But losing to Cincinnati, a lot less of a big deal. The Bearcats, I believe, are one of the 2 or 3 most underrated teams in the entire nation. And other wins against Georgia Southern and Howard, but really those wins against Duke and Mississippi State, those are resume builders for the NCAA tournament, because losing to teams like Cincinnati are not going to hurt you. The UMass Lowell, that could or couldn't, depending on how the committee's feeling on that day. Meanwhile, when we look at Georgia, 3 consecutive wins, beating Mercer, Florida State, and Winthrop in their last 3. But when they have stepped it up against better teams, Miami and Providence, they lost both those games, didn't even cover the spread in either of them. The Miami game, they jumped out to a big lead in that game, only to see the Canes reel them in and really thump them, and by halftime, Miami was pretty much in control of that game. I think when we look at the tail of the tape here, it's usually easy to see exactly how and why these teams are where they are. Georgia Tech, not a great shooting team, 307th in the nation, shooting just 41%. But usually when you have a team that has a winning record and doesn't shoot well, like Georgia Tech, what they do is they defend really well. And what do they defend the best? The perimeter, right? Because the three-point shot just so important in college basketball these days. Georgia doesn't shoot the three well. Georgia Tech defends it really well. And that's exactly how you make the difference in these games. Georgia's getting way too much love here. There's no way I'm laying that many points with a Mike White coach team. I'm taking Georgia Tech, and that's going to be my free pick. Of course, while you're doing your picks today, putting your bets in, be sure to use our free betting tools at sportschatplace.com. They're 100% free, and they'll tell you how often historically each of the bets on the board have hit, putting you on the most favorable bets on the board today.